Let's be real. We've all got one. That nagging bad habit we just wish we could quit. But what if the reason we can't is because we've been fighting the battle all wrong? Today, we're going to dive into the psychology of our habits and lay out a smarter roadmap to finally break them for good.
You know this feeling, right? It's 11 o'clock at night, you know you should be sleeping, but your thumb just keeps on scrolling. Or maybe it's that afternoon sugar craving that somehow always wins. We tell ourselves it's a battle of willpower, but man, it's a battle we seem to lose over and over again.
And what's the advice we always get? Just try harder, have more self-control. But what if that advice isn't just kinda useless? What if it's the very thing setting us up to fail? What if the problem has nothing to do with our willpower and everything to do with our strategy? So that brings us right to our first big idea, what I like to call the willpower trap. We're going to dismantle this myth that just gritting your teeth and relying on pure self-control is the way to go. Okay, and this is probably the most important thing to get right off the bat. Struggling with a bad habit doesn't mean you're lazy or weak or that there's something wrong with you. It's not a moral failing. It just means you're using a flawed approach. It's a design problem, not a character problem. So, if willpower isn't the magic bullet, then what is? Well, to find the answer, we have to look under the hood at how our brains are actually wired. And it turns out, for most of our day, we're being run by this invisible but incredibly powerful autopilot system. And at the core of every single habit you have, the good, the bad, all of them, is something neuroscientists call the habit loop. Think of it as a simple 4-step pattern that your brain runs automatically, without you even thinking about it. This loop is the secret engine that makes habits so powerful. So here's how it works. First, there's a cue. That's the trigger. It could be a time of day, a feeling, a place. That cue then creates a craving for some kind of change in state. And to get it, you perform the routine. That's the habit itself. Finally, you get a reward, which basically tells your brain, hey, that worked. Let's remember this loop for next time. Let's make this real with the phone example. The cue is that little pain of boredom or anxiety. Your brain craves a quick escape, a distraction. The routine, you pick up your phone and start scrolling. And the reward is that little hit of novelty, that mental break. Cue, craving, routine, reward. A perfect automatic little cycle. Okay, so once you see that loop, you immediately understand why the just stop method never works. It's because our brains are wired to finish the loop, and they absolutely hate a vacuum. This right here is the golden rule of changing your behavior. You can't just delete a bad habit. That neural pathway is already carved into your brain. The cue is still going to pop up and your brain is still going to expect that reward. Trying to just erase the routine in the middle is like trying to build a dam in the middle of a river with a few pebbles. The pressure's just going to find another way through. So when you feel that cue and the craving hits and you try to just white knuckle it and not do the routine, your brain kind of freaks out. It goes on this desperate search for anything that will deliver that reward it's expecting. And you know what? Sometimes it finds a new routine that's even worse than the old one. So this insight leads us directly to our very first and very practical strategy. If you can't just erase a bad habit, what do you do instead? Simple. You replace it. So the common mistake is trying to fight the routine head on. The smarter strategy is to keep the cue and keep the reward the same, but to consciously swap in a new, better routine. You're not trying to destroy the loop, you're just hijacking it for your own benefit. Let's go back to the phone. The cue is boredom. The reward you're really after is a mental escape. So instead of the old routine, scrolling, you could consciously decide your new routine is to read one chapter of a book. It still gives you that same reward of distraction, but it's a way better habit. You've successfully hacked the loop. Now, replacing the routine is a huge step, but the most profound strategy, and honestly the easiest one for making change stick, it has almost nothing to do with changing yourself. It's about changing your world. This is such a game changer. We think our habits are a reflection of our inner drive and discipline, but the research is so clear. Our habits are often just a response to the cues in our environment. You know those people who seem to have superhuman willpower? They're not better than us. They're just better at designing an environment that makes doing the right thing easy. And that brings us to this incredibly simple but powerful idea. Instead of fighting the habit after the craving has already started, why not just remove the cue that kicks the whole thing off? You can literally become the architect of your world, making your bad habits difficult and your good habits the path of least resistance. Just think about it. Trying not to scroll when your phone is sitting right there on your nightstand, that's a willpower battle you're probably going to lose eventually. But what if you just charge your phone in the kitchen? The cue, the phone itself, is gone. the habit loop never even gets triggered. Zero willpower required. So to wrap it all up, here is your new toolkit. Step 1, be a detective. Figure out the cue, routine, and reward for the habit you want to change. Step 2, swap the routine. Find a better action that gives you a similar reward. And step 3, the most powerful one, redesign your environment. Make that bad cue invisible. And really, this is the big idea to walk away with. Breaking a bad habit is not a test of your strength. It's not a measure of your character. It is simply a design problem. And you are the designer. So stop trying to be the hero who can resist any temptation and start being the clever architect who removes the temptation in the first place. So I'll leave you with this one question. Forget about willpower. Just for today, what is one tiny, almost laughably easy change you can make to your environment right now that would make a bad habit just a little bit harder or a good habit just a little bit easier? Because that small step, that's where real lasting change always begins.